All right, let's talk about one of the best moments in home selling. You know the one. Your phone buzzes, you look down, and there it is, an offer on your house. It is such a great feeling, right? It's what you've been working towards. But here's the thing. What if that amazing offer doesn't actually get you to the finish line? Today, we're going to break down exactly how to spot a rock-solid offer from one that's just, well, wishful thinking. And this right here, this is pretty much the golden rule. It is so easy to get starstruck by a huge price tag. But as you're about to see, the real win isn't just the number on the page. It's the certainty that you're actually going to make it to closing day. Now check out this number because it's a bit of a reality check. Roughly 1 in 5, that's 20%, of all accepted offers end up falling apart before the sale is final. And what's the number one reason? It almost always comes down to financing. The buyer says they can get the money, but when push comes to shove, the loan just doesn't come through. And this is where that incredible sold feeling can just fizzle out. You see, there is a massive gap between a buyer who hopes they can get a loan and one who is genuinely prepared and has already done the financial legwork. As the seller, your mission is to figure out which buyer you're dealing with before you sign anything. So how do you do that? How do you tell the difference? Well, it all boils down to understanding what buyer qualification really means. So let's get into the weeds and separate the weak offers that are likely to fail from the strong ones that are built to last. First up, you're going to see this one a lot, the pre-qualification letter. Here is the absolute most important thing to know about this. A pre-qualification is not a promise of money. It's basically just the summary of a quick chat. The buyer calls a lender, tells them what they earn, and the lender says, okay, based on what you're telling me, you could probably borrow about this much. Nothing's been verified, no documents, no proof. Okay, so let's put these two side by side because the difference is huge. A pre-qualification, like we said, is just a conversation, but a verified pre-approval, that's a real commitment. With a pre-approval, the lender has actually done the work. They've pulled the buyer's credit report, they've seen the pay stubs, they've verified the tax returns. It's the difference between a hope and a plan. And trust me, you want the offer with a plan. So now we know what to look for. Let's get practical. Let's talk about the actual game plan. Here is a simple but super effective checklist that you or your agent should use to dig into every single offer that comes your way. We can really boil this whole process down to 4 key steps. First, you've got to look closely at the pre-approval letter itself. Second, you need to check out the lender who wrote it. Third, you have to understand the specific type of loan the buyer is using. And finally, you've got to weigh all their conditions or what we call contingencies. Let's start with step 1, digging into that pre-approval letter. You know, these things have a shelf life. A buyer's entire financial picture can change in just a few weeks. Maybe they bought a new car, maybe they lost a job. So if that letter is more than 30 days old, it's basically expired. It needs to be updated. You also want to make sure it clearly states that their income and credit were verified, not just discussed. Okay, step 2, the lender matters a lot. You know, a local, experienced loan officer who knows the market tends to get things done faster and smoother. They have a reputation to uphold in the community. Now, a really great agent won't just glance at the letter. They'll pick up the phone and call about loan officer. Just getting a feel for how responsive and on the ball they are, that 5-minute call can tell you almost everything you need to know. All right, on to step 3. And this is something a lot of sellers just gloss over. You have to realize that not all loans are the same. The type of financing a buyer is using can seriously impact your sale because each one plays by a different set of rules and timelines. So a conventional loan is usually the most straightforward, the path of least resistance. But then you have government-backed loans, like an FHA or a VA loan. And with these, the appraisal process can be way stricter. An appraiser might demand that you make certain repairs to the property before they'll approve the loan. And that can lead to delays, unexpected costs, or even kill the deal entirely. It's a critical detail to know up front. And that brings us to our final step, number 4. Think of contingencies as the what-ifs in the contract. They're basically escape hatches for the buyer. Things like, I'll buy your house if I can sell my own house first. The more contingencies an offer has, the more ways the buyer can walk away. An offer with fewer strings attached, even if it's for a little less money, gives you so much more certainty. So let's pull all of this together. It's really time we redefine what a strong offer actually is. It isn't just about chasing the biggest number. It's about finding the offer with the highest probability of closing without drama, without delays, and on time. Let's just look at this classic scenario. Offer A is for $510,000. Looks great, right? but it's based on a weak pre-qualification and it's loaded with contingencies. Offer B is for $500,000, but the buyer has a rock-solid verified pre-approval and very few contingencies. So which one is better? Offer B every time. It might be $10,000 less, but it is way, way more likely to actually become cash in your bank account. So what's the bottom line here? What do you absolutely need to remember? First, a high price is just a number on a piece of paper until the sale closes. Second, that verified pre-approval letter is your new best friend. Third, a great agent acts like a detective, vetting every single detail before you sign. And finally, remember that sometimes the peace of mind you get from a sure thing can be worth way more than a few extra bucks. So the next time you get that exciting notification that an offer has landed, just take a second, take a deep breath, and ask yourself this question, because now you know exactly what to look for to find the real answer.